Just before we get into this video, guys, if you want to follow me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, the links are here. And if you also want to support me on Patreon as well and help out my channel, that would be absolutely awesome as well. But let's get on with the video. Hey guys, Wingy here, and welcome to another episode of Why You Should Watch. Now, I was going to talk about this program in this series, however, I wasn't going to do it yet. But this week, Paul Darrow, one of the actors from Blake 7, sadly passed away. So I thought, you know what? Let's talk about Blake 7, because I've wanted to talk about it more, and I think it'd be nice to just reminisce about Paul Darrow and the thing that made him famous, because he was a very underrated actor. Let's just get into it. Now, I've spoken about Blake 7 before. It is one of those shows for me that I think if you're a fan of classic Doctor Who, then you're definitely going to like it. Well, maybe not definitely, but more than likely you'll probably like it. If you're aware of like the production value of classic Doctor Who, particularly around the mid to late 70s, then you kind of know what to expect from Blake 7. The look and feel of the show is very similar to that sort of period of Doctor Who's history. And to be fair, a lot of the things were similar. This show shared quite a few of the writers, it had the same composer, quite a few actors from Doctor Who did actually appear in Blake 7, including one of the Doctors themselves, Colin Baker. It is very much a cheap and campy sci-fi show. However, it is a hell of a lot of fun. The basic premise is there is the Federation, a overlord type company. Everyone in the universe is under their control. It's a proper dystopian future. However, a man called Blake, he quite likes the Federation. You know, they provide everything for him, you know, whether it's a place to live, food, water. That is until he realizes that it's all a sham and he used to be the Resistance leader. But the Federation subsequently wiped out all of his memories, have actually killed his family, and have lied to him for the past 4 years. I think it's 4. I could be wrong on that, but it doesn't matter. So, now that he has his memories back, Blake is going on a mission to take down the Federation, and he ends up with a crew and a ship. Each and every single member of this crew hates the Federation for different reasons. They have their own motivation to hate the Federation and willingly join Blake. I say willingly, some of them is reluctant. Avon, mainly. And then from there, they have a number of different obstacles, whether that's Federation troopers following them in their spaceship, whether that's the evil Federation leader, Servalan, or her main henchman, Travis, who also has a history with Blake. What I love about Blake 7 is the fact that it's very aware that it is cheap and campy. It's very self-aware, but I love that. I love that it just goes all in. And plus, not only that, you don't just get the generic stories of, you know, the little guy fights the man. I mean, in this show, yes, that does happen, but it's not the entire thing. There's certain episodes where the Federation aren't even relevant to the story. And I quite like that. I like the fact that it just follows these characters, and it kind of feels like with most TV shows, it only shows you the main plot. And I know that sounds mad because obviously you'd want to follow the main plot, but Blake 7 is a show where it's not afraid to show you things outside of the main goal, or show you things about the characters and their personal life and their history. So from that perspective, I'd say it's quite unique. But even though sometimes it isn't relevant to the main goal of taking down the Federation, it still works and it's still fun and it's still enjoyable. I also think as well that Blake 7 is kind of the Game of Thrones of its time, in the sense that I'm not going to say who or when or what happens because I want people to watch it, but all I will say is, don't get attached to anyone. There is kind of a revolving door policy when it comes to the main crew members. I've got to admit, sometimes it's really effective and it really works with what they do with certain characters and how they write them out of the show, shall we say. Other times, it's absolute fucking bullshit and I hate it. But then again, I suppose that shows you how invested you can get in these characters, because sometimes in an instant they're gone. And it just shows you how dangerous this universe actually is, and it shows you how dangerous the Federation can be and what they're trying to do. They're essentially freedom fighters. So not everyone is going to get that long heroic death and, you know, have a speech as they're dying like, oh yes, we may have lost me, but it's for a good cause. No, it's literally just like, yeah, bang, done. It's only 4 series and the entire thing is on YouTube, and I think each of the 4 series is very distinctive. The first series, I think, is very much finding its feet and it's sort of establishing the world of Blake 7 and the world of the Federation and Blake and the Liberator and his conflict with Avon. The second series, I think, is a lot more interesting and a lot more focused on the Federation. It also shows you a very different dynamic to Blake and his goal, and he starts to morally question himself whether or not in what he's doing he's any better than the Federation. I mean, the intent is different, but his actions are fairly similar in some regards. So you get Blake doubting himself. Series 3, the entire dynamic of the show changes, arguably for the better in some people's minds. There's very much a conflict with Avon in this series about leadership as well. And then I think the fourth series is a lot more grounded. It's not as big and as bombastic as it had been before, but it does work in the show's benefit. It was a nice change of pace. And then of course you get the finale, which I would say is one of the best finales ever. It just is. I love it. I think it's brilliant. I mean, I imagine it's not for everybody, but it's one of those finales where it's fucking memorable. Which is good, because if it was shit, then I probably wouldn't care as much. But I think everything up to and including the finale makes this show so worth it, because you do get invested in the characters, you do get invested in the stories and the struggles and the conflicts. You know, they feel like real people, even though it is set in this space age world and universe, and there's spaceships flying about and laser guns and whatnot. The characters are relatable and the story is also relatable. Obviously not everything, because like I say, it's spaceships and shit, but the whole idea of being controlled and a totalitarian government and things like that, it's still kind of relevant to things that we experience today, or we see today in various different countries across the world. I mean, first and foremost, Blake 7 is entertaining, and that's the only thing that you should want from a TV show or a movie or whatever. So in that regard, Blake 7, I think, is one of the greatest sci-fi shows ever. I know a lot of people who watch my channel have asked me about Blake 7, and some of you actually told me to watch it as well, so I imagine a lot of you who will be watching this video will have already seen it, but if you haven't, honestly go and check it out. You will not regret it. I mean, you might, and if you do, I was going to say don't blame me, but it is me telling you to do it, because this video is called Why You Should Watch Blake 7, but at the same time, you chose to do it. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, I don't think you will be disappointed though. So in the comments below, guys, let me know if you've seen Blake 7. What do you think of it? Whatever it is, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe for more. Social media and Patreon links will be in the description below, so if you would follow me on any of those things, I would absolutely love you forever. But until next time, guys, you take care of yourselves. Goodbye. Oh, it's a good theme though, isn't it, as well?